belts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
Alrighty, everyone. It's been a brief moment since our last race, but tonight it is going to be Sigma ARCA Racing here at Pikes Peak International Raceway. 100 laps with our ARCA contenders, and we've already seen kind of a mixed bag between the first two races. Obviously, the last race was more of a hassle than anything, where we had glitches and errors that kept us from having a good race. So hopefully tonight will be a little bit better than 777 Speedway. Talladega was actually pretty good. We saw a good race there at Talladega with a new winner, a surprise winner that no one expected. So to no further ado, starting on the front row here is Casey Klein alongside Wyatt Wilkinson, Kaylee Sheets and Skylar Taylor, followed by Chris Kagreen and Ran Kataz, Joe Hill and Craig Bush, Joe Hill alongside the 15 of, is that Craig Bush in the 15? Well, it's not wanting to go in order here, as that cart's skipping right over. Then you got Finley Herwig and Ralph Oberstadt, James Gunner and Ace Blake, Adam Cruz and Alex Sanvital, Alan Chavot and Evan Snake, Jakov Rosevich and Trevor Vaden, Jaden Anderson and Jonah Burridge, B. Roy and William Kinsella Jr., Eli the Wolf and Parker, Chase Kovacic and Scorpio, Sly Ojima and Mark Shelton, Craig Popgris and Donovan Heist, Jameson Thole, who was your winner at Talladega. As surprising as that was, he's going to have to start deep here alongside Hubert, Chris Mozzie and Gustavo, Matias Nunez and Bergerson, with Zach Magoon rounding out the rest of the field here. 100 laps. This should be a pretty exciting race. Each time we've been here so far has provided some thrilling action on track. It's actually the second pole position for Casey Klein in the early season here. It's actually going to be nice that I have my website now I can actually refer to for stats that I would often not have at my disposal. As I'm going to go check it out right now and give us a rundown on the point standings here in ARCA. Green flag waving, and we're off and rolling here at Pikes Peak International Raceway. Current points leader in ARCA, believe it or not, is Zach Magoon, who's had 2 top 5s in his first 2 starts. And we saw here tonight how Zach Magoon's actually starting dead last. So got his work cut out for him today. There you see him at the very back of the field. So it's surprising that your points leader has a rough start here in the early of this one. Wyatt Wilkinson missed the first race, but has been pretty good in only the other race that he's run to start his ARCA campaign. He's fighting with Casey Cash here for the overall lead early on in this one. So run through here on lap 5. You got Casey Klein, who's led each lap so far. Wilkinson in second, followed by Sheets and K Green. K Green, this is only his second start in the ARCA series. Looking pretty solid early on in his career here. Looks like he might be potentially trying to push the 66 aside. He got a little bit of a run there. To help the 19, the 19's got a run coming on the inside. Casey Klein is going to have to hold off some hard charging cars here behind him. That's the impressive part with these guys being in a spec model. The GTO body, everyone's got the same body line, so there's no advantage aerodynamically between one driver to the next. Even on that, you've got some variability. Some of these drivers can tweak the engines within a realm, and make adjustments here and there to actually get more speed out of the car. But for the most part, everyone's racing with the spec engine. That's where you kind of see some of these guys week in, week out that have looked strong so far. Kind of comes down to who's got the most money behind their team that's putting out the performance here. And Casey Klein now with 2 pole positions, probably a reason why he's driving that number 1. Magoon, our points leader, still running at the very back of the field in 36th right now. So man, Magoon's probably going to end up losing that points lead tonight if he can't work his way through all the traffic at the back here. Last race winner, Jamison Thole, deep in the field. Starting to think that could be a trend that we see here in the ARCA series, is you might have a guy that wins a race, then goes out next week and looks very beatable. And it's only going to promote, some good parity in this series, giving us a chance to see some up-and-comers get to victory lane that have never been to victory lane before. When you put into perspective how many of these guys, this is their start. A lot of them don't even race in our USA trucks. Obviously have not made it up to Bridge to Cup or the Cup Series. ARCA really is the first rung on the ladder, and it's impressive to see how much we've grown that we can actually fill a 37 car field for the ARCA series of the next, next group of talent here. James Gunner, we have seen him lighten things up in the USA Trucks. He's in the Eastern Division of the USA Trucks, and he's got 2 wins so far. One of them at North Wilkesboro, and this last one coming, can't remember off the top of my head, but it was another short track. It was Killcare Speedway, that's right, in Ohio. And so 2 short track wins for James Gunner in the trucks. And here he is trying to compete for wins here in the ARCA series. Finley Herwig has been very strong, very competitive in any vehicle you put him in. 3 wide. Ooh, the 77 there of Ace going 3 wide for position. Still holding 3 wide there with the 21 of Oberstadt and the 15 of Craig Bush. Looks like Blake's going to prevail there. Ace Blake gets the double whammy, moving up to 6th place. And it's only going to allow the 9 car behind him to also get a good run here. The big loser and all that looks to be the number 15. This is kind of what we saw in the truck race at this track. A lot of side-by-side action, some great passing opportunities present itself here throughout the course of the race. So we get back up into our top 5 as it's Skylar Taylor, Chris K-Green, who is racing for Al Bunch Incorporated, Kaylee Sheets, who's racing for Jesse Saturn Racing, Wyatt Wilkinson for LFG Motorsports, and Casey Klein racing for Jacob Schengle Racing. Still hasn't surrendered the lead here, but Wilkinson is barking at his back bumper. Coming into the race today, Wilkinson's main goal was to at least get some lead laps here today. And it seems like that's very much within the realm of possibility that he could get that 19 car into the lead position, lead some laps here today. Got some stout competition around him. Casey Klein hasn't won a race yet, but has been strong enough competing for those wins. Here we go. Wilkinson goes low on the 1, drives it in deep in turn 1. Casey Klein's got to bobble a little bit there and cuts off the momentum from the 19. Seems to have kept him from making the pass there. So far, Casey Klein has led every lap, but it's not a guarantee. Once they start catching lap traffic, things could definitely get different here. K-Green making a move there on Sheets for position. There we go. K-Green takes the position up to P3 here as Skylar Taylor is going to follow right behind. Kaylee and Skylar duking it out now, and that could potentially give Ace Blake a chance to catch up to the top 5. Okay. We do have the occasional glitchiness. Of course, this is a 20-some-year-old game, and it's crazy that this is the cusp that my gaming laptop seems to have just the, it's just pushing it that much harder than it needs to, I guess. But we strive on. We keep rolling here. Had a brief moment of disappearing cars. But here we go, 5th place. Battle starting to heat up here for the top 5. Pretty neat seeing that Furniture Row Denver Mattress paint scheme racing around Colorado here. We all know how popular that team was back in the day with the Cup Series. It's always cool to have that sort of revival within our offline series of racing like this. And these guys really are within the same realm as the leader. If the leader makes a mistake, he could drop back about 5 spots here. So he best be careful not to make a mistake, or else 5 hungry drivers are ready to take that position away from him. I don't think Kaylee Sheets was so happy to lose that position this early in the run. She probably wants to get it back as quick as possible and get to fighting with the leaders for some potential lead lap opportunities here. See, it's bunching back up. These top 4 all within the same blanket of each other. Wyatt Wilkinson has attempted to get by Casey Klein, but has failed to execute. Another good run here from the 19 as he goes low. Last time he tried to make the move in turn 1. This time trying to go through turn 3, but to no avail. That bunched him up, and now they're kind of dwindling backwards here as the 10 and the 66 have kind of separated from the top 2. This battle. Ooh, the 29 kind of breaking line here. Gonna try to do it going into turn 1 again. Didn't work last time, and I don't know if it's gonna work again this time. Oh, the momentum. He is carrying so much more momentum through the turn there, and it looks like he's going to secure the lead for now from Casey Klein. Wyatt Wilkinson and K Green now dipping low there on the 1 car. Like I mentioned, this could be a freight train. These guys are going to just blow by the leader. Casey Klein could potentially fall back about 5 spots here. He's already lost 2. 2 wide behind him. This could help give him an opening. Instead, he's going to go high here, which I think is a mistake because the 66 is going to go low. Casey Klein dropping spot after spot after spot. So 30 laps in, we see a lead change for the first time tonight. Seems like Casey Klein might have used up his tires a little bit here. And Wyatt Wilkinson to the point. Leading laps like he kind of forecasted. Called his shot, maybe you might say. Some more comers and goers as the 21 of Oberstadt making some moves here. Getting back by the 77. And I still don't think that the 51 of Magoon has made much ground up as we're going through the field here. Kovacic running in 20th. Jonah Burge in 21st. Both the Red Bull cars running nose to tail. Jaden Anderson and Eli the Wolf. Man, going from having 2 top 5 finishes to I don't even think he's going to have a top 30 here today. 51 of Magoon running 35th. So points leader drama about to unfold here today. What's likely going to happen is Trevor Vaden currently sits second in the points, Jonah Burridge third, Jamison Thole fourth, Bailey Parker fifth, Matias Nunez sixth. Man, none of those guys are really in the mix here today. I think your closest would be that of Casey Klein or Ralph Oberstadt, who are sitting 8th and 9th in the points and currently running about, well, Casey Klein 4th, Oberstadt 7th. Main storyline, though, points towards these newcomers that haven't started at every race this season. Obviously, this is the season debut for Ace Blake in the 77. And already running in the top 10, competing with the big names that have already established themselves this year. Chris K-Green, who just showed up last week, missed race number 1, started race number 2. As well as the 19 of Wyatt Wilkinson, missed race number 1, but started race number 2. These guys are going to slowly start working their way up the point standings and be perennial contenders for that championship this year. We've made it 36 laps in, no caution, only one lead change so far. Pole sitter was Casey Klein. Klein has since dropped from the lead back to 4th. And Wyatt Wilkinson has been your leader for the past about 7 laps now. Here we go. Skylar, she's going to fight for position here, trying to take 4th away. Sneaking up to the 1, but not going to be able to make a move there. One thing is certain, LFG Motorsports has something figured out in this ARCA series. Obviously, with the first race with Trevor Vaden getting the win in the number 18 LFG Motorsports entry. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. We had a stalled car on track there. 09 of... And so that's going to bring out our first caution of the day. William Kinsella Jr. had a flat tire. Yeah, flat tire. We also had the 13 with a flat tire somewhere around the way. But that flat tire caused Kinsella to stall on track, bringing out the first caution of the night. See, he just stalls it here. Luckily, no one runs into him. It's kind of a peculiar place to park it. 13 of Hamburgerson also had a tire failure. We'll see if he actually came down pit road. Yep. So he was able to, under power, come down pit road to get it fixed. You see there, we missed that. So it's actually pretty, almost a midpoint for the race to get a caution here. 40 of 100, so it'll still be 60 laps. But this pit stop, I think, should pretty much get everyone good to go to the finish. So there's only going to be about one pit stop here. We'll see who makes the most of it, if there's anyone that gains some ground, if there's anyone that loses spots on pit road here. Follow the 77 as he embarks off pit road here. Looks like he's going to hold about, oh, he's going to gain some spots actually. Potentially up to third with that move. Casey Klein's a little bit slow to getting up to speed here. He had the #1 pit stall, so it should have helped him maintain some spots rather than lose as many as he did. Came into the pits, I think, about 4th, and he's going to rejoin the track in 4th. So that 13 is a lap down, so they will get shuffled around. Actually, because we can do it, we'll go ahead and wave the 13 around the pace car. Give Hamburgerson his lap back here. The 09, unfortunately, at this point is 2 laps down, so won't give him a wave around. But Wyatt Wilkinson, surprising us all so far in just his 2nd race, leading some more laps. We did see him lead, I think, some laps at Talladega. He almost won it. He just came up oh so short across the start-finish line when the 40 of Jamison Thole kind of stole it away from him. The one thing that this does do is kind of takes, I think, lap traffic out of the mix for the race tonight, as I don't know if 60 laps is going to be near enough for them to actually catch up to the tail end of the field. If we were to see a lap traffic race, it probably would have been about 80 laps before lap traffic became a factor. So turns it into pure driving skill and speed here tonight on who can get the win. So rolling up to the restart, it's going to be the 19, the 10, the 77, the 1, the 66, the 29, the 15, the 21, and the 32. Trevor Vaden has now cracked into the top 10. Must have missed something on Kataz there, getting damage on the #9. Might have to look back and see how that happened, but right now we're getting ready for the restart. Suspect, that seems the 77 has a little bit of a bunched up rear end. I don't know if that's just an illusion, but if you look at the other rear ends, it doesn't look bunched up on the others near as bad as that 77. So might be a theory, but looks like it doesn't have any effects on his speed here, as he's still holding on to 3rd and potentially duking it out for a top 3 position here. 66 of Kaylee Sheets on a good run there. That 66 goes low and is going to take position. Not quite. 77 still holding his own here. And I think things are going to get sorted here for now as the top 3 break away from the rest of the field. 3 wide. Trevor Vaden making up spots like a madman here. These guys could almost push it 4 wide going into the turns. Wow, Casey Klein having some trouble there. Looks like he's going to have to let off the gas to try to get to safety, as he is just in no man's land on the high side. Vaden gets a little bit of a bobble there. Oberstadt had to correct it. No contact, but it did look pretty hairy from that camera angle. Well, that's pretty impressive. LFG Motorsports, 3 of their cars in the top 10 right now. Holy cow, Ace Blake not messing around here. He's trying to take the battle to Chris K. Green for position. Al Bunch Incorporated put together a strong number 10 car there, but I think Furniture Row has got just a little bit more fuel in the tank. Perhaps not showing his hand yet, but it's building up, and you're seeing the momentum in the favor of the 77 car, slowly but surely. Wonder where Magoon has ended up now. Well, Magoon taking advantage of that caution and starting to clip off some positions here up into the top 30. And I do want to see what happened to Kataz there in the number 9. Okay, he's got his front end on right there. Coming up under caution. I think there might just been a disconnect from his brain as he, oh yep, sure enough, runs right into the back of the 77. So that contact was noticeable on the 77. 50, yeah, kind of, wow. That was unnecessary, and he even passed that 15 car, so that was an illegal move. I'm surprised the game didn't give him a disqualification for passing someone on entry to pit road there. But he continues going, a little bit rougher for wear. And the 77, even though sustaining some minor damage on the rear bumper, running strong in 3rd. Skylar Taylor 4th, Kaylee Sheets 5th, Craig Bush 6th, Trevor Vaden 7th, Oberstadt 8th, Klein 9th, and Chase Kovacic up to the top 10. Good run for the 62. Good run there on the inside 32, trying to poke his nose down low here. Kovacic holds off for now. Not seeing a lot out of that 10 car. I think we're seeing more out of that 77 than the 10 so far. Yeah, there we go. The 77 dipping low here. Did not want to miss this potential swap of position. This could happen right here as they're going through turn 1. K Green doesn't seem to have much fight here against the 77. Man, and in his season debut, already up to 2nd here at Pikes Peak International Raceway. Some people on our server would often joke that someone put Skittles in their tank to get that extra oomph. I think that Ace might have some Skittles in that tank, and we might have a prime suspect. As we all know, Atlee advocates for them Skittles, so who knows. But whatever it is, totally legal. He's putting together a great showing here in his series debut at his home track nonetheless, and still a lot of racing left to go here. We still have 42 laps. A lot could happen. And I know I said I don't think lap traffic could be a factor in 60 laps. And I still don't think it's going to be that significant of a factor. But if we have some people that make pit stops, there could be some pit stops or something from unsuspected people that could potentially put some lap traffic in their way. But we're going to keep an eye on their lap times and try to figure out who's turning the faster laps here. Last lap, Ace Blake was just a hair faster than Wyatt Wilkinson. Not by much, almost unnoticeably faster. They're running comparably the same lap times, so that lap 27.621 from Wyatt Wilkinson, 27.5. So definitely the 77 showing a little bit more pace here. 40 laps to go. He knocked off another 0.2 on that lap. So 77. This could be a Cinderella story of sorts, as never having contested a race in Sigma competition until today. Shows up, doesn't even know it's his local track, but just so happens to be his local track, and contesting for a win here against the other newcomer that's only been on the server for 2 weeks now. So I can't write this script. It's just writing itself, folks. The 77 and the 19, and obviously they're nowhere near points contenders right now, but 2 solid races like this, they're going to start putting their name in the hat for a potential championship bid if they can keep consistently putting these races together. Wyatt Wilkinson that lap at 27.6, Ace Blake at 27.5. So Chris K-Green's kind of settled in right where he was running. Not closing the gap, but not really losing much either. Skylar Taylor, Craig Bush, Kaylee Sheets, Trevor Vaden, Ralph Oberstadt, Chase Kovacic, James Gunner now up into the top 10. Adam Cruz, Jakov Rosovich, Finley Herwig, Joe Hill, Matthew Hubert, Mark Shelton, Alex Sanvital, B. Roy, Evan Snake, and Bailey Parker. So that's your top 20. Alan Chavot, Eli the Wolf, Jaden Anderson, Jonah Burridge, and Gustavo. Craig Popgris, Donovan Heist, Rand Kataz, still running, even though he kind of buckled that front end. Jamison Thole. And our points leader, Zach Magoon, is running 30th. So rough day for the 51 team. Correct, there is a truck race to follow after the ARCA race, so double header. This race starting to close up here, and as soon as I get the results and stuff saved, probably expect about a 10 or 15 minute intermission, and the next stream will go up for the USA Trucks West Division at Texas. Still everyone. Oh, wow. Casey Klein, your pole position has an ignition problem, falls out of the race, is going to finish 37th today. So it's crazy that he's had 2 pole positions in the first 3 races here and nothing to show for it. Ooh, lap times are starting to plateau here a little bit. Start to wonder if tires are getting wore down. 77 of Ace Blake, 27.8. Wyatt Wilkinson also a 27.8. This is where the track's character starts to kick in, the tire degradation. It really gets to be a gritty battle as to who's going to save the most and have that extra tread to push it right at the end. 29 laps remaining, and now we've got a good bundle here at the front as your top four starting to close it all up. Top three, as I've highly mentioned already multiple times tonight, top three haven't even started race number 1 of the season. These guys joined after race 2, and they're already fighting for wins here in the Sigma ARCA series. You even go back to fifth place of Craig Bush didn't start race number 1. So 4 of the top 5. Skylar Taylor was there for race 1, so she has started each race so far. But it's got to be mind-boggling for these drivers that you know have started each race, and then all these newcomers start showing up and taking it to them. It's like, hey, what aren't we figuring out? Why are we getting, you know, our asses whooped by the newcomers, new kid on block and whatnot? That's where they got to go back to the drawing board and try to figure out what they're doing wrong. It's healthy for the competition in the Sigma ARCA series to have these newcomers show up and just, you know, lay it down like that. It makes everyone all around that much better to keep building upon their equipment and racing that much harder, that much faster, that much stronger. So long run here, it looks like the race actually might be coming to Chris K-Green. Perhaps K-Green was saving his tires there in the mid-run to try and build up a late race push like this. Kind of also proves that the 77 might have been using up his stuff a little bit. However, that time, fastest lap belonged to Ace Blake. So all this ebb and flow, there's just a lot of good racing going on here tonight. Oh, the 10 tries to make a bid there for the lead. 19 cuts off that momentum. K-Green recouping, trying to figure out another method of attack here. And now we've got 6 cars all within striking distance. And I wouldn't even count out Trevor Vaden from joining the party here. Yeah, they have significantly dropped off in lap times. 27, 28. It's almost a full second off their fastest laps. And they still have 21 laps to go. So it's going to be a long 21 laps for whoever ends up leading this race, because their tires have gone away and they're just going to be hoping that white flag waves sooner than later. Yeah, no, lap traffic is not going to be a factor here today, as tail end of the lead lap just crossed the start-finish line. Our leaders just now coming across the front straight, passing that start-finish line about 10 seconds later. Here comes the 77 again. Momentum carrying him up to second here. And wow, the 10 fighting it out on the outside. Some progressive action where you got both lines looking very race-worthy here. This side-by-side racing has allowed for Wyatt Wilkinson to sort of stretch out that lead right now. You got both of these kind of in a triangle from second, third, and fourth, and fifth, sixth, and seventh. That inside line should prevail, but with the tire degradation, that outside line is just as competitive. There we go. Ace is now got up. And 10 still fighting it out, though. It's not an easy pass by any means. He's kind of starting to close the gap back up on Wyatt Wilkinson here. Wilkinson just turned a 28.2. Pair that up with Ace Blake and his 28.2. They ran identical laps that time. However, Blake ran identical time, and he was on the inside getting held up by the 10 cars. So that shows just how strong that 77 actually is here. Man, that's crazy too. Last week's winner, Jamison Thole, 28th here tonight. But of course, with Talladega, you always have that wild card, kind of a surprise winner, and Thole could very well fall into that category. That he may not be the guy to win every race that he goes. He's kind of, you got to imagine though that morale boost for the team could help him in pivotal moments throughout the season. It's a shame that it didn't show up here today at Pikes Peak, but they'll go back to the drawing board and figure out how to make that car better. Wyatt Wilkinson, I don't know if he even anticipated that he'd be fighting for wins this early in his career. And aligning himself with one of the top teams throughout the Sigma-verse. LFG Motorsports has accumulated so many wins when it comes to truck action. Bridge to Cup, they've secured a championship in Bridge to Cup with You and What Army. And then the steady progression of them getting up the ladder into Cup. You and What Army and Chaz Chadwick, the two guys behind LFG Motorsports, had multiple wins in the 2023 Cup campaign. And even What Army came up runner-up to Atlee Weiss. So LFG Motorsports is a winning team, proven. And it just so happens that they opened up to a 4-car team to include Wyatt Wilkinson in the party. But on the other side of that, you've got the 77 behind him, who is part of Atlee's stables. So Atlee Weiss, your 2023 Sylvania Cup champion. And between TRD and now Furniture Row Motorsports, he's got a couple, extended satellite teams, and each team that they back ends up going to victory lane. So if it's Furniture Row or Toyota Racing Development like it is in the Cup Series, even man, there's other team names. He basically bought out Joe Gibbs from our universe here and ended up winning the 2023 championship. So it's safe to say that 77 car is also got proven winning tendencies because of its owner. So fight for third as Skylar Taylor, she works her way in alongside the 10. Kaylee Sheets sitting in 5th right now as well. Wonder where our other driver, we had someone in the top 5 I think must have fell out. Can't quite remember who, but at one point Kaylee Sheets was running 6th, now she's running 5th. I can't quite figure out who it was that fell, so we're really getting down to the closing laps here as there's only 7 laps to go right now. And the battle has tightened up once again between our top 2 drivers. Kataz there in the 9 car, very slow. But they're a full straightaway separated from the leaders here. These two are going to be able to race for it without any form of disruption. Got to give credit to Ace Blake for having some minor damage on the rear end of that car and still able to wheel it around here in the top 3. They keep turning nearly identical laps, the 2 leaders. Right when you think the 77 is closing the gap, they kind of fall back in line with each other. This time by 5 laps to go. Well, that's right, the 15 was the one in the top 5. So Craig Bush drops outside the top 5 to 8th. And LFG Motorsports now sitting 1, 6, and 8 rather than 2 in the top 5. It's now or never for these guys. If there's an opportunity to steal the win away, they're going to have to work together to try and find a way around Wyatt Wilkinson as we're down to just 3 laps to go this time by. Chris K-Green starts to close the gap up on the 77. I think it would be smart of these two to work together, kind of bump draft down the straights and try to get that 19 to lose some momentum here. But what do I know? I'm just the commentator. As you see, the 10 does not want to cooperate with the 77. 77 turns a 28.44 to Wyatt Wilkinson, a 28.46. So they're only, the laps are almost down to thousandths rather than tenths, which is not much for a gain. White flag waving this time by. It's going to be Wyatt Wilkinson leading on the white flag. Does Ace Blake have anything under his sleeve, or is he simply just going to settle in for a 2nd place finish in his series debut? I don't think they've got anything. Wyatt Wilkinson's going to come around the front stretch here as the checkered flag waves in the air. He's going to collect his first victory in only his second start of Sigma ARCA Racing. Impressive debut for Ace Blake, coming home second. Chris K. Green, oh so close, but sitting in third there. Kaylee Sheets with a top 5, as well as Skylar Taylor, so 2 chicks in the top 5. Trevor Vaden could potentially be your points leader after tonight with a top 10 finish there. Oberstadt also hanging in solidly, going to be in the mix for the point standings. 15, Craig Bush. 62 of Kovacic, and the 32 there of James Gunner. And LFG Motorsports now with 2 of the 3 wins early on in the season of ARCA Racing here. See the rest of the official standings on the left side there. Outside of the top 10, you had Adam Cruz, Jakov Rosovich, Finley Herwig, Joe Hill, Mark Shelton, Matthew Hubert, Alex Sanvital, B. Roy, Evan Snake, and Bailey Parker. Such a heartbreak for Casey Klein, starting pole position and suffering a mechanical failure to finish dead last here tonight. '24 ARCA race number 3 of 18. So this really setting up to have a pretty intense battle for the championship. So we're only 3 races in. The one thing's for certain, 18 races, not a very long campaign, so there's no room for error. You better be, coming out with guns a-blazing if you want to fight for this championship like we saw tonight. So overall, congrats to Wyatt Wilkinson tonight, getting that big W. And then large shout out to all the newcomers that are just showing up and hitting home runs right out of the gate. There we go, all good. And like I mentioned, it'll take a brief moment to get the next race all set up. So that will conclude our ARCA race for tonight. Thanks for everyone tuning in. It was a great race, had some good action. And overall, big win for the 19 team of Wyatt Wilkinson. Almost got it done at Talladega last week, came up short finishing 3rd. It looked like he could have got it done at Talladega, but didn't have to wait too much longer to get that overall first win. So I'll go ahead and start getting that truck race set up, folks. Just stay tuned and look for the link. I will post in about 15 to 20 minutes. So thanks, everyone. See you on the next one.